some Nigerians who go abroad and they have a better lifestyle, they make more money. I don't think it's impossible for a Nigerian to stay within the country and excel and have a good life. I think it might be a bit more difficult because there are so many challenges that we face, political, educational, social challenges, and our country has a long way to go. But I still believe that if we keep telling ourselves the narrative that we have to step abroad in order to excel, that is what will hold us back as a country from actually striving to be better. Now, as I've also said, I'm not denying the fact that there is a certain level of sweet life abroad. Yes, it is. And I pursued my education, my undergraduate degree there, and I had a good time there. And I still have dreams of traveling to different countries. I still have dreams of pursuing an advanced degree if God will. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isioma Nonye, and my channel is all about all things personal development, growth, women empowerment, and life in Nigeria. So for today, I'm talking about a book that I recently just completed called Of This Our Country, which is by acclaimed Nigerian writers on the home, identity, and a culture that they know. Now, this book particularly piqued my interest because I've always been fascinated about the idea of culture and identity and what it means to be Nigerian. And this book talks about Nigerian writers based in Nigeria and abroad and the experiences of what really made them feel a sense of this is my identity as a Nigerian. And so many of them discuss things from like childhood experiences, going to NYSC, university. Some of them talk about rites of passage such as burial, returning homes for funerals. Some of them talk about things just as the political structure in Nigeria, the educational system. So it was very interesting to see how Nigerians associate different factors with what it means to be a Nigerian. Now, I'm just going to point out a few writers who I felt I was drawn to their own story, and it also made me question certain things about whether is this the Nigerian identity or not. Now, for example, Nels Abbey in Newly Secundus, he talks about this whole idea of Nigerians achieving great things once they step outside of the country, as though to say Nigeria is a limiting factor, but once people step outside of the country, they are able to make it big and great. And I'm not sure whether I completely agree with that whole notion, but let me just read what he said to you. He said that the 26-year-old appointed as COVID advisor to President Joe Biden, she's a Nigerian. The first woman to head the World Trade Organization, Nigerian. The founder and owner of the Shade Room, yep, Nigerian. The world best or most promising boxer, basketball player, UFC fighter, and rugby player, all Nigerian. The first black man and the first black woman to win the Booker Prize, they are Nigerian. The two brothers who confessed to helping the actor Justice Smollett stage a white supremacist attack. Okay, yes, two, they were. Jokes aside, just aside, Nigerians achieve amazing globe-beating feats. But there is one issue that I've long been bothered by, especially in modern times. Why are Nigerians able to walk on water abroad but often struggle to crawl on concrete at home? Why does it seem that these days most Nigerians have to leave Nigeria to be great? And towards the end of the narrative, he also says, the sad reality is that far too many Nigerians' proximity to the exit, as opposed to brilliance, determination, and drive, is now a key determining factor in how well they might do in life. Many Nigerians are left with the fully justified belief that their dreams start to come true at Murtala Mohammed International Airport's departure gates. Nigerians are more likely to prosper in other people's lands than their own. I cannot think of a greater definition of a national tragedy than that. That's his narrative and his whole idea of the fact that Nigerians' dream is often to step outside of the country because they feel as though that's how they make it, that's how they will excel. It's a very interesting one, and I'm not even sure how I go about tackling this because I can't really say that I disagree with the notion that some Nigerians have to step outside and they make it. And I can't even say that I also disagree with the notion that there aren't Nigerians within the country who are living good lives and making it here. But I'll just talk about my own narrative and my own experience of really understanding that most Nigerians tend to have this perception that life abroad is better. And that became very apparent to me during my NYSC. NYSC is National Youth Service Corps. And during my NYSC, I did camp. Yes, I did the camp experience. And I remember that as people knew that I was a student that studied abroad, most of them kept on asking me, so why did you come back to Nigeria? Why did you come back to Nigeria? And it just seemed to be this common narrative and trend of like, if you've lived a certain life outside of the country, if you've been to America, if you've been to Europe, why step back foot in this country? And so many people were even telling me of their experiences that if they could leave, they would leave. I remember speaking to a medical student that said that if he had the opportunity to study abroad, he would have not come back, because even while he was pursuing his own studies here, there were difficulties in university that he was in with really having the adequate tools and lab facilities in order to have the proper education and learning. And to me, as somebody who had just freshly come back from New York at the time to Nigeria, it was very discouraging to really be in these environments where everybody kept saying that, oh, like they feel sorry for you for having come back to your country. But as my years continue to pass in Nigeria, because I've been here for at least 5 years right now, I realized that this is a common narrative, not only among youths, but even among people who are older than me. I would go to my hairdresser and she would tell me of her own stories of wanting to leave, wanting to migrate, and not as though that she had to do something big or major. She felt as though that even the little minor work that she does, she would excel in other lands than in her own country. And even I would go to places and my Uber riders will complain about the Nigerian environment, about the leadership, poor structure, and how they want to live, and as though that life abroad is perfect. So there is this common narrative that once people step outside of Nigeria, life there seems to be perfect. And I just want to say that I sort of sway in between, because yes, I do realize that when I was living in New York compared to Nigeria, there's definitely a certain ease as far as certain things move. There are certain difficulties that you face in the country that you don't really have to think about there. When it comes to internet access, when it comes to electricity, when it comes to educational structure. If you attend a public university, I attended a public university in New York, and I would never have to say that I had a bad education. I would never have to say that I dealt with ASU strikes the way some students are dealing with here. So as far as that aspect goes, yes, there are certain advantages and benefits of life abroad. But I feel as though in Nigeria there are many challenges, but I also think that it's the narrative that we tell ourselves that people can't exceed and excel here. That is also what holds us back, because I do believe that there are some successful entrepreneurs here that I admire who are really making things happen within their own space in Nigeria. I mean, Tony Elumelu is here and he's doing it, and he's a successful man, and he's a Nigerian entrepreneur. And I also admire the fact that he tries to raise that African narrative and help African entrepreneurs to excel. So I can't say that even though some Nigerians will go abroad and they have a better lifestyle, they make more money, I don't think it's impossible for a Nigerian to stay within the country and excel and have a good life. I think it might be a bit more difficult because there are so many challenges that we face, political, educational, social challenges, and our country has a long way to go. But I still believe that if we keep telling ourselves the narrative that we have to step abroad in order to excel, that is what will hold us back as a country from actually striving to be better. Now, as I've also said, I'm not denying the fact that there is a certain level of sweet life abroad. Yes, it is. And I pursued my education, my undergraduate degree there, and I had a good time there. And I still have dreams of traveling to different countries. I still have dreams of pursuing an advanced degree, if God willingly that is possible for me. I still have dreams of traveling and being in other countries, but that doesn't mean I want to deny the fact that I'm a Nigerian. So that whole question of Nigeria and the fact that you make it once you step abroad, I think it's you have to look at two different factors of the equation. Are all Nigerians here unsuccessful? I don't think so. And are all Nigerians abroad successful? I don't think so. People struggle because we are all humans and there are all difficulties and challenges. So I really feel as though we have to just sort of change the narrative of how we talk about life in Nigeria. And that doesn't mean denying the fact that there are challenges. Yes, there are challenges, but there is still more to life, and there are people who are succeeding here. Now, what I particularly like about this book is that whole idea of what do you take from being like, what do you identify with being Nigerian and our country. And as far as to me, when I think about Nigeria, I do think about the aspect of home. Yes, home, because this is where my immediate family is. So I see Nigeria as a place of home to me. The different writers talked about their different experiences, but me, when I come back to Nigeria, I see it as coming back home because I associate my family with being here. My nationality is here, my identity is here. I don't have to look at a passport and think about visa or this, because this is my home country. And another narrative that I found particularly interesting in this book was Cheluchi Onyemelukwe. And he talked about education as a savior. And I love the fact about how he talked about his parents instilled in him the importance of being educated and striving for more. And he also has that same aspirations for his own children. But there was something that he said which was also heartbreaking. And he talks about the insecurity that occurs in Nigeria. And he said there is more recent news about girls who have been kidnapped in Katsina, a state in the north of Nigeria. It comes after only a few weeks of the kidnapping of the boys. Another has occurred in Kaduna, where the governor insists that he will not negotiate with kidnappers, even if that means that the kidnapped young persons are lost to their parents forever. I watch as the BBC, CNN, and Al Jazeera News present this news, as they describe the frequent recurrence of these events and give these figures of out-of-school children. I listen as a mother says that she is pulling her children out from other schools to stay home with her. I reflect now on what parents did without thinking. Back in the 80s, sending children across Nigeria to a boarding school, many kilometers away from home. Education is no longer a savior for many in Nigeria, it seems. Now, this is another thing that unfortunately I think we also associate with the Nigerian identity, the Nigerian culture, is when it comes to the whole idea of insecurity. And unfortunately, that has been a rising issue, especially the fact that kids are not safe in school because there are attacks going on. Not only apart from the whole ASU strike, like there's a lot of kidnapping going on in schools, like kids send their kids to school, and there's a lot of fear of what might happen there. And unfortunately, that is also a sad reality of what it means to be Nigerian. And I think that these are some of the fears that might cause people to feel as though they need to run away, they need to leave the country, just because of that whole safety aspect. And that's why I said I don't deny certain things. As much as I believe we need to change the narrative, there are certain realities that we need to work on here that I believe affects people's abilities to want to stay and thrive in the country. And that whole education part is such a heartbreaking factor, because that fear and that insecurity is real. And I feel as though we really need to tackle that, because everybody, no matter their status and position in Nigeria, they deserve the ability to have a good education, to feel safe in school and strive. And I don't think that's impossible. I think it is possible, and we as a people should demand more from our governments. That's just my own opinion. That's just my own my own thoughts about the book of this our country. And I feel as though for anybody, any Nigerian out there, whether you are based in Nigeria, whether you are abroad, I think it's a really great book to read. Just learn about people's different experiences of what it means to be Nigerian. And I would love to know your own thoughts of what you feel it means to be Nigerian. What is that Nigerian experience that opened your eyes and said, now so it be, oh, this is Nigeria, I'm a Nigerian, this is what Nigerian life is. So what is that experience that really made you think that this is what it means to be a Nigerian? I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts. And if you've read this book, let me know what you think about this book, and let me know if you've read other books that are similar to this and what you think about this book. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this video, definitely like it. Definitely share to somebody who you think would be interested in this content. And I will see you on my next video. Take care.